Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, who clipping the mic super early. You always want to clip your mic early on in the podcast. You're listening to the Shoot Brothers Wrestling Podcast. If we're shooting, I'm yelling. You know that. Listeners of the show have to know that by now, because my name is Cameron Osborne. I'm one of the hosts of the Shoot Brothers Podcast. I'm also joined here by Mike the Shoot Shepherd.
Clip!
Sorry. We're sitting here, episode 161 of the podcast here this week, the weekly wrestling roundup show. And folks, just like every week, we got a great show for you this week, baby. 2.0's rolling on in their post-War Games life. Of course, 2.0 is the stars of 2.0 are trying to overtake the stars of the black and gold. Our WWE main roster is building towards day one. It's coming, baby. Day one, January 1st. And, of course, AEW this week brought us this year's edition of Winter is Coming. Big stuff this week.
Big stuff. And we've been hyping it up for a little while now with the day one pay-per-view. That signifies the end of this current year. So, of course, we have to end the year with the Shooty Awards. And the ballots are open until midnight at December 31st. And as we saw this week, we had some late pushes here for some big awards. So
what you're saying is a good point there, Mike. Day one will really be the first day of the 2022 Shooties.
Yeah,
right. Kind of all the qualification is like right there. No, you're exactly right. The Shooties are coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Full of some old categories, some new categories I think we're throwing in there, and that's always an exciting show. Really can't wait. Can't wait for it.
That's right. It's our baby, you know.
It's a little thing. And everybody else ripped us off. Exactly. Anyone who does a year-end wrestling awards, they're ripping us off. Yeah, that's right. You heard it here first.
Yeah, especially if I start to see best hair and, best dress, things like that.
Yeah, the odd categories, once you start seeing that. Yeah. Least over, most over, anything like that. Shooties are coming up. Let's get into the podcast this week. Let's get into the podcast the way that we always do, or often do, which is by crowning a brand new Tweet of the Week champion. It's the Tweet of the Week. It's the Tweet of the Week. Mike, today I want to talk to you about heat.
Yeah, heat. I mean, it's the winter time. We could use some heat, right?
Yeah, it's winter. We can certainly use some heat. And there's a lot of professional wrestlers out there who try to get, who might not even need the heat, but for some reason think they need it. They want to try to get it. Because that's very important, right? Heat is going to reflect how the audience really thinks about you. You know, as if you're getting heat, that's not good. Or it is good if that's what you're trying to do, if you want the heat. But sometimes heat comes out of nowhere. See, you have CM Punk, it's specifically in the calling out of people. Which sometimes gets to be a little odd. Sometimes people try to get heat when you're kind of like, I don't think the heat was necessarily deserved, warranted.
Yeah.
But anyways, this week's Tweet of the Week champion, brand new Tweet of the Week champion, goes to Dylan Postal.
Who?
A man you may know a little more formally as Hornswoggle. That's right, because earlier on in the week, it was Anthony Ogogo. We saw him perform once in AEW against a match against Cody Rhodes, British boxer. I think he has all the actual qualifications that Michael Cole tells us Baron Corbin has, where he tweeted out, super cute, that John Grisham was the last Ring of Honor champion. Kind of reminds me when Hornswoggle was the last ever Cruiserweight champion. Congrats, kiddo. Yeah, wow. Out of nowhere. Hornswoggle has never appeared on AEW television. I can't think in my mind where there would have been a situation where Hornswoggle, Dylan Postal, and Anthony Ogogo would have been in the same room together. Yet this young kid thought it was just his fucking opportunity to talk shit on a former champion. Yeah. So, of course, Dylan Postal had to respond to him by saying, super cute, how you try to downplay something that wrestling fans still remember to this day 14 years later. Kind of reminds me of when you... Wait, what have you done again that's noteworthy? Dylan Postal, Hornswoggle, you're the brand new Tweety League champion. For all you young kids out there who want cheap heat, you gotta remember history, pal. You don't talk to a legend like that.
That's right. Former champion, future Hall of Famer, I'm sure.
I'm sure. There's certain, but like, why? Why would you do that? That's like talking shit to Jean Sebastian Giguère because he won the Stanley Cup Finals MVP being on the losing team.
Yeah.
We fucking remember it.
No one even brought him up. He's like, yeah, by the way, Giguère.
Hornswoggle has been out of the loop for so long, his Twitter handle isn't even Hornswoggle anymore. It's just flat out at Dylan Postal.
Yeah, I had no idea who that was. But a go, no go for that tweet.
Hey, men. No go, no go, a go. Dylan Postal, you are a brand new Tweeted League champion. Congratulations.
Congrats.
That's all we got. Well, great. Let's get into the podcast here this week. Bit of stuff that we have to kind of go back on because we're kind of recording a little day late, I guess. But let's kick off. With the Blue Brand, shall we? Let's move ourselves over to last week's episode of Smackdown Live. Okay, folks, it's Friday night. It's time for Smackdown Live. It used to be on Tuesday, but then I think it was on Friday before, though. No, wait. We used to film it on a Thursday and then release it. It's just Smackdown Live.
Yes, coming off of that screw job against our Canadian legend,
the
Sami Zayn.
The Canadian screw job. That's what they're calling it. They're calling it.
It wasn't in Canada, but I forget. Whatever.
But it happened to a Canadian, so I'm counting it.
Yeah. Lesnar beat him up, so Sammy comes out. He's in a wheelchair. He's got some male nurses with him. He's selling these injuries and just talks about being screwed by Brock, and Paul Heyman comes out and Sammy doesn't appreciate it. He stands up from his wheelchair and tells Heyman that Roman's not here tonight. No one can save you. And then Brock comes out, and every week he's looking more of a farmer than ever. He's just had full-on overalls this time. And
he's gone from that initial appearance at SummerSlam where he was just kind of like jeans, a belt buckle, and a cut-off tee, to now the cut-off flannel, which is an interesting look because I'm pretty sure they don't sell flannel shirts like that. Like, you have to buy a flannel shirt and then cut off the arms yourself.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's like, I remember when my brother was little, he purposely ripped holes in the knees of his jeans. My mom got all mad at him.
Because he wanted to do it for fashion.
He wanted to be like Wayne's World, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, Farmer Brock, he's out. Pretty much all he's missing is the straw hat and the little piece of wheat chewing on it.
Yeah, pretty much at this point.
But he's being all friendly. He's like, hey, Sammy, how you doing, buddy? Sorry about last week. But Sammy's like, yeah, well, the physical pain is a 10, but my feelings, that's a 20. And Brock's like, man, I did you a favor. You're never going to beat Roman one-on-one. And he even speaks some French to Sammy there. From one Canadian alpha male to another, he invites him out to Saskatchewan to go hunting and fishing together. And he starts to wheel Sammy away, but Paul Heyman's like, oh my God, what's going on here? I spent too much time at the dispensary. The edibles are kicking in. So they must have been in a legal state. I forget where they were. But.
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I'm sure a lot of the states are legal by now, but you're right. They had to be in one of them.
Yeah, little marijuana joke. But anyways, he's like, Brock, you're not acting like a beast. And Lesnar ends up beating up poor Sammy. Poor Sammy.
Poor Sammy coming out in that wheelchair. Reminiscent of there was a time in the past where Brock Lesnar pushed a man down a set of stairs in a wheelchair.
Yeah, he's done some
pretty bad things in his life.
But let's just move along because Los Lotharios take on Rick Boogs, Nakamura, and Boogs just continues to show off that great strength of his, just lifting these guys. I guess they're not the biggest guys, but lifting them up above his head and just dominating, and tags in Nakamura, hits the Kinshasa for the quick win.
Of course, Eric Bugenhagen, like we were talking about before. We're just watching him lift weights in his dusty old garage. It's really panned out well for him because, like you said, he's getting a few wins here.
Yeah, no, he's been pretty well protected since coming up. Like, doesn't wrestle the biggest opponents, but yeah, he hasn't really taken too many losses.
Yeah, not too many, especially when it comes to like a live, like an actual weekly show, not like a live show somewhere or else.
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura, though, it has been far too long since he was actually in a Intercontinental Championship match. That's right, September 24th. On an episode of Smackdown Live against Apollo Crews. That was the last time that this championship was on the line in a television, not a live show, not a special show or whatever.
Yeah. But still, that's coming on the 3-month mark. That's way too long.
Right? It feels like it, right? And Shinsuke Nakamura got the belt off of Apollo Crews on an episode of SmackDown, probably about a month prior to that. So since then, there has not been a single challenger, somebody interested in it. We thought for a second maybe Baron Corbin was involved. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it hasn't been that memorable of a run at all.
Lackluster, to say the least.
Yeah, exactly. Backstage, Kofi Kingston reveals a new crown for Xavier Woods because Roman destroyed the other ones.
Mm-hmm. And this one,
bigger.
Looks nice. It looks more like something that a video game character would have, maybe, or like an anime character.
Anime, exactly.
Yeah, felt like it.
Yeah, it's fine. Sheamus takes on Drew McIntyre, which we saw a bunch of these at the beginning of the year. Great matches, but more of the same here. Just heavy hitting. Sheamus hits a big knee. Drew kicks out. Soon after, hits the Claymore, gets the win.
Like you had just mentioned, the series of matches we had kind of before. You said, maybe didn't kind of stand up to those in terms of match quality, but I guess you got to do what you can on a short schedule, on a short turnaround.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I guess they're still keeping Drew, giving him wins and
keeping him relevant until the rumored SummerSlam in London, England next year.
Yeah, but after this, we are scheduled to get Naomi taking on Sonya Deville, and Sonya, she comes out. She looks like she's ready to compete. But then she grabs a microphone and says, we got a special guest ring announcer, Natalya, special guest timekeeper, Shayna Baszler. So Naomi knows what's up. Before the bell can even ring, she just rolls outside, attacks Shayna, knocks down Natty. Sonya yells at them, so they all surround the ring. 3-on-1. But then we finally get the debut of Xia Li. She's coming down. She does her little sword dance, and I actually thought the intro graphics were kind of cool, the way they tracked her movements as she was going. It was like shooting lightning energy bolts.
Yeah, it was.
She looked like an anime.
Yeah, the Titantron, the whole setup there, it was a great setup as she was coming out.
Yeah, just like
those little overlays that they put over the live camera.
Yeah, looked cool.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets in the ring, helps out Naomi. They take out Natalya, Shayna. Sonya's all alone, and Xia hits her with the big spinning heel kick. And Naomi goes for the moonsault, but Sonya cronies drag her away. But either way, nice debut for Xia. Finally,
unfortunately, the result is the result of the match is a no contest.
Yeah, never started, but
so never finished. So I guess nobody involved has a tick on their win-loss record.
We'll get the 6-man tag or something between these before we finally get the one-on-one that we've been waiting for. Naomi.
Maybe at day one. It feels like at this point we might as well just wait for that, unless they're hoping for a big, match somewhere around Christmas. There's always a match somewhere around Christmas.
Yeah, SmackDown will be on Christmas Eve this year. So.
Oh, okay, there you have it. Probably pre-taped.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
But, yeah. See where that goes. RK Bro are here visiting. And they're not the only ones, because the cast of Jackass Forever, well, a couple of them, like Knoxville, Pontius, Dave England, couple new guys.
It's great to see. It's great to see the cast of Jackass doing well. I, for one, have been excited for the Jackass 4 movie ever since the inception. And then, of course, the delays. Really can't wait for it. Great to see Pontius doing well, and Dave Englund. Dave Englund was always one of my personal favorites. Of course, because he's you got the main guys, and you kind of have the backup crew. Englund was always part of that backup crew that never got the respect he deserves.
Yeah, I like Englund. He's a good guy. But Johnny decides to teach Riddle a move, the hook and ladder, where he just cups his hands, scoops Englund up by the balls, yanks him to the ground. Very painful, I'm sure.
I can only imagine.
Illegal in the world of professional.
This would be an illegal maneuver. That is true. Yeah.
That would be a DQ if the ref anyways, let's go to Charlotte Flair taking on Toni Storm. Enough of the pies. We're ready to fight. This is a championship contenders match. So if Toni wins, she gets a title shot. And she's fired up, looking pretty good. The crowd's on her side. Charlotte, she's still doing Andrade's moves. And I don't know if you heard, they reportedly broke up a few weeks back.
That's tough, right? How do you remove somebody's moveset just because, you're not allowed to do some move? You're not allowed to do
she could do it.
A little springboard moonsault. You're not allowed to do a little Spanish fly.
Yeah, either way, just noting it.
Okay.
But Charlotte, she starts getting frustrated. She's got Toni in the corner and just starts kicking her head in over and over. Refuses to break. The ref counts to 5, so that's a disqualification. Toni Storm earned a title shot.
Is that what that means, technically?
I think so. I hope so.
Okay, because this could be one of those, because it was a DQ finish. Does that mean that she gets it necessarily?
They make up the rules.
Yeah, unless the goal is to eventually put Toni Storm over Charlotte Flair. It would be like this was a weird result.
Yeah, either way, I think Charlotte needs an opponent for day one, and this could be the one for it.
Yeah, why not?
Charlotte Toni. But let's go to the main event, triple threat tag match. So I guess they had this poll on WWE.com, so anyone can vote. Who's the best team out of these three? The Usos, the New Day, and RK Bro. And the results came in. RK Bro were first. Usos came second, and the New Day were dead last, which was a little bit surprising.
Wait, were they dead last or just third?
Well, third out of three is dead last.
I guess that is good. Well, it's not like it's not like somebody was saying fucking Otis and Gable, Corbin and Ridge Holloway.
But Usos are pure heels. But I guess some people are tired of the New Days. I don't know.
Pure babyface.
I don't know. Who knows how many people voted? This could have been like a 50-person poll. But anyways, the match will decide who is the actual best team. Triple threat. And get out your pen, because RK Bro, this is officially a brand-to-brand invitational match.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mike. You are right. Here on the podcast, we have our finger on the dial in terms of the brand-to-brand invitational here in season 3. Riddle and Randy Orton have now used their first of 5. You're only allowed 5. So they joined both the Usos in a previous, who also split the brand back on November 15th. So watch out, Riddle and Randy. You got 4 more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're paying attention here.
Oh yeah, we're keeping score.
Next thing you know, we're going to be timing the amount of time between Royal Rumble entrants. It's got to be that equal 2.5 minute, like whatever it is, whatever the time they say it is. Can't go a second over, second under.
Have fun with that. But this match was fine. Riddle, he gets stuck in the ring for a while, building up to the hot tag for Randy, who comes in. He unleashes the Viper, but then Xavier tags in without him seeing, and then him and Kofi hit their finisher, get the pinfall. So New Day win. They're the best team of WWE, I guess.
But despite the third place, or as you would call it, the last place vote.
Yeah. Despite public opinion, they won the
Despite
match.
public opinion, yeah. Some might question, why have RK Bro here on SmackDown if only to win, only to lose.
Yeah, I don't think, and to waste one of those brand-to-brand invitationals on it. You only get 5.
You only get 5, right? We kind of used one already, But that being said, it is nice to know that the fans care about these 3 tag teams, right? Because outside of these 3 teams right here, I can't think of another tag team on the main roster. I mean, I can, but you know what I mean. Of course, we saw Angel Garza and Alberto Carrillo earlier on, but same thing. I mean, and no momentum for this whole division.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, where's Shotzi been? I haven't seen her.
Where has Shotzi been?
Yeah, she was doing good, having some matches with Charlotte and stuff.
Justice for Shotzi.
Yeah. But that was SmackDown. Yeah. Just hop on over to the other Friday show.
Let's do it, baby. Because, of course, also on a Friday... Not at the same time, though. You would have time. One thing I got to thank Tony Khan for is that he made us not have to compete. See, when Vince moved NXT to Wednesday, he was like, "Well, make them choose what they want to watch." Tony Khan had the option. He was like, "Hey, no, I don't want to make them choose. Hey, give them all the time in the world to watch our Friday night show. It's pre-taped anyways, baby. They're just here for the fun. They're just here for the shits and giggles." So let's move ourselves over to some All Elite Wrestling Rampage.
Rampage. Rampage. Rampage. Rampage. Rampage. Rampage.
Where, above all, we have tag action, we have women's action, but above all, the debut of Hook.
Yeah, this has been building for a while. The wrestling community is kind of...
And if you want to talk long-term booking, here's a kid who's there every week. We've never seen him with his shirt off. We've never seen him in trunks. We don't even know what to expect. He could have leg sleeve tattoos for all we know. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, but we'll find out in a short while. But before that, we've got the AEW World Tag Titles on the line here. Lucha Brothers defending against FTR. Just some real hot tag team action here. 2 of the best teams in the company. So very different styles, but always work well together. Lots of cool double team moves. Eventually, Cash Wheeler tries to hit Phoenix with the AAA title, but Phoenix catches it. They start playing tug-of-war with it. The ref comes in. He tugs at it. They're all yanking. It ends up nailing Dax in the head. Phoenix goes for a frog splash, but then Dax holds up the same belt, hits Phoenix in the head on his way down, makes the cover, but Phoenix kicks out of that. So FTR then hit the big rig, but Penta breaks up the pin, and soon after, Lucha Bros hit the Fear Factor, get the win, and retain the belts.
Retain their championships, without winning back those AAA championships. I think this has to be the best. This was my favorite match, I think, between these 2 teams.
Yeah, this was a great match.
Rey Fenix just does his normal defying gravity nonsense. Penta, who he could be a future world champion for all we know, and FTR, one of the best kind of technical duos there. You're right, the Clash of Styles, not the Styles Clash.
No.
The Clash of Styles has been interesting to play the way it's played out through the last probably 2-ish months now, 2.5 months now. That FTR and the Lucha Bros have been going at it, and it's great to see that. I think it was Cash. Yeah, Cash Wheeler was the one who kind of nicked his arm in that one match a few months ago. And then we kind of thought, there was a chance that he may have to leave in-ring competition, but he seems to be back and fine and having some great matches along the way.
Yeah, very fine form and hot opener.
Hot opener.
Well, let's go to women's action. Ruby Soho, Anna Jay, and Ty Conti taking on Penelope Ford, Nyla Rose, and the Bunny. It was solid. Not quite as crazy as that opener, Mare, but it was still fun. Eventually, everything breaks down. Everyone's jumping in, hitting their signature moves, one after the other. When, amidst all the chaos, the bunny slips on the brass knuckles, nails Anna Jay with them, and then Nyla hits the Beast Bomb to seal the deal, get the win.
For the heels.
Yeah. This heel group. I guess they're not even a group. They just...
No, I feel like this was the first time we saw Penelope Ford in a while.
In a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been a little while there.
I'm sure she's getting some play on Dark and Dark Elevation. I'm sure.
Yeah, she's always got a super good record every time they show it, like 20-3 or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of people getting like really good records because of this whole Dark and Dark Elevation thing.
Yeah. But let's get to it. The moment you hyped up. The moment that a lot of people have been waiting for. Online, building to it. Almost become a legend. Can he live up to? It's almost too much, but let's find out. Because we got the debut of Hook taking on Fuego del Sol. And, we didn't know what the kid was going to look like. He comes out looking like a boxer. And he is just instantly over with this crowd. They're chanting for him.
He was I've never seen somebody so over, and I have no idea why. Usually you know
like
what,
a meme
usually
that caught
you know
on
why somebody's over, and I have no idea.
Yeah, it just caught on, and they ring the bell, and he starts to show that he's got some skills as well. Doing some nice amateur wrestling moves. Taz on commentary, of course, just loving every minute of it. He does a couple of his old moves. He's like, oh, yeah, that's the Tazplex, the Kata Hachima, or I don't know. Anyways, he gets Fuego in the Kata Hachime, as Excalibur called it, but looked like a Taz mission to me. And Fuego quickly taps out. So dominant win for Hook.
Yeah, big win in 3 minutes, and it was one of those things where it's like a little bit more than a squash. Like it could have been a squash, but it's like, hey, let's show the kids what you can actually do. Bang bang, bang bang. Fantastic. Go home. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Looking forward. I think that the future of Team Taz, the eventual. I know we haven't seen him in a little while, but a Ricky Starks Hook, who is the true leader of Team Taz.
Yeah, eventually it's gonna break down. But this was a rare 4-match episode of Rampage. Mm-hmm. As our final contest was Adam Cole taking on Wheeler Yuta, and Cole just dominates most of the match. Yuta gets a little comeback, gets a couple moves in, but Cole just cuts it off. Big super kicks, hits the boom to get the win.
The boom.
And then afterwards, they just kind of, Cole and the Bucks, they beat up Cassidy and the Best Friends, so they're all just kind of feuding right now.
Yeah, everyone's kind of going at it because I guess so this was Friday night. This was Rampage, but of course there was the the Dynamite just beforehand on that Wednesday that I guess we kind of skipped past, which is fine. You can't hit every show. We can't be expected to hit every single little tidbit of professional wrestling. However, this was the point where Trent
yes.
made his long-awaited return. He was injured for a long period of time. He kind of came out to make the save in a match against the Bucks. I think Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy was involved in. And then after, his mom Sue was there too.
Yeah, Miniman.
Yeah.
While we're on it, let's just mention a couple other things because, of course, they had that Dynamite Diamond Battle Royale as well on that Dynamite. And I guess the story was the final three, of course, MJF looking for the three-peat. Comes down to him, Dante Martin, and Ricky Starks. So it's supposed to be 2-on-1, Dante and Ricky, part of Team Taz. But then Dante ends up turning on Starks, tosses him to the floor. And that's the end of the match because the final two will compete. So Dante Martin, is he already out of Team Taz?
It seems as though, or he's just willing to do, what it takes to win.
What it takes to win, yeah. I mean, once again, MJF dumped Wardlow as well, so he does that. He always fucks with Wardlow.
Him and I think Powerhouse Hobbs clashed at one point in the midst of that battle.
Yeah, and speaking of MJF, there was another promo from CM Punk, and yeah, this was his most heel promo yet, wasn't it? He spent a lot of time making fun of the New York Islanders, and
just said a lot of that. Of course, he was wearing he take his shirt off, or he took a sweater off, and he was wearing a 4 Pillars shirt.
With Britt Baker.
That didn't have MJF on it. I think he called, calling them chicken shits. It was heely. It was
heely.
Like,
if that's your guy, you're all chicken shit. Talking to the crowd. So it was.
And it is funny how all you have to do is just one sports reference, like to give it's who is it? Elias Kevin Owens. Like they kind of took this blueprint of like just say one negative comment about the team, the city's like local team. The bigger the better, obviously. And John Moxley, fucking CM Punk, Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy could come out at the ACC and say, the last time the Leafs won the cup, and just get fucking rained on. Like we're talking Orange Cassidy, Darby. I don't care who it is. They get the shit kicked out of them on the spot. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, he did it.
Did the Islanders have a win at this new UBS Stadium yet?
I think they finally won.
They finally got it? Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Yeah. But, that was about it for that last week. There was also Malachi Black. He sprayed Julia Hart in the face with his mist, so no limits for him.
No limits. Maybe he's going to make his own little crew, his own little Dark Order.
Yeah.
And then eventually it turns out that he's been working with Bray Wyatt this whole time. See, I just booked it. I just booked it. And that was kind of the prior week's Rampage. I think maybe at one point during one of these two shows, or maybe it was the next show, maybe it was over the weekend. We are getting Revolution again. February, I think, down in Tampa, down in Florida somewhere. So any rumors of that pay-per-view coming over to Canada or even across the pond, shot down for now, but
yeah, not yet.
And it kind of feels like they've kind of painted themselves in the corner sometimes. It feels like where Double or Nothing has to happen in Vegas, All Out has to happen in Chicago, and then they only have 2 more shows. It's like I wonder when the first All Out. I wonder what the first All Out that won't take place in Chicago. They're 3 for 3.
Yeah, eventually.
Eventually, one's going to have to not be there, which is, and Toronto would be a good location.
Oh, yeah.
The fans would go nuts. We know this, but then again, you don't know. I mean, honestly, if I saw Sammy Guevara come out, I'd boo him. Fuck Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
So, that Canadian crowd, we're unpredictable. We're unpredictable.
Yeah, we'll have our day.
We'll have our day in the sun, baby. Let's move on through the weekend then. Any wrestling action over the weekend that we care to talk about?
I guess we should mention Jeff Hardy getting released.
The full releasing, like you had called. Yeah. You sent me the message, I guess probably shortly after it happened.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week or after the video surfaced. Some strange rumblings, people talking, and apparently WWE said you can go to rehab, and he said no, so they released him. But we don't know all the stories. We don't know everything.
Yeah, I feel like without knowing anything, it's hard to say what's going on.
Yeah, but he's already showing up on like Twitch streams with Matt and doing little teases. So who knows?
Oh well, he's fucking All Elite. You know it. All Elite or Impact. Like those would be the 2 places that I think would want him the most. Yeah, and I think
90 days.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the AEW one just probably makes sense because he's there with Matt Hardy. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, just whatever issues he's got to sort out. Figure that out.
If there even isn't, see, all rumors.
If there is, I don't know. It's all the whole incident. We don't know the whole story, so it's hard to say.
It's hard to say. But all the best to Jeff Hardy. Thanks for his kind of his run through 2017 maybe. Whenever him and Matt came back at Mania, was it Mania 33 maybe? Yeah. So. Big pop on the return. I think he got a U.S. championship in there. I think he got an IC title run also.
Yeah, I think so.
And then he did definitely have a couple tag runs, I think. So congratulations, Jeff Hardy, on that most recent run. And let's hope that you pop up back doing some Swanton bombs pretty damn soon.
Yeah.
Let's move through the weekend. Then Wrestle Kingdom's going to be 3 nights this year.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So they're doing the night 1, night 2 on the 4th and the 5th. But then on the 8th, they're doing a New Japan versus Noah thing. So kind of these two brands coming together and putting their bests up against each other. But they're kind of branding it along in the same kind of category as Wrestle Kingdom. I think we're on Wrestle Kingdom 15 this year. So going to be some big matches there.
Okay.
Who knows? Bryan Danielson. I hope Bryan Danielson gets a match at Wrestle Kingdom or something. I know, or whatever it is. I know it's very, very close right now. It is only 3 weeks away. But he, of course, has expressed. He wants to go back to Japan to work.
Yeah, I've heard maybe next year's G1. He wants to be in that tournament.
Yeah, competing in that somehow. I'm sure somewhere along the line. I think Zack Sabre Jr. is actually the current IWGP, or at least half of the tag champs over there. So that Bryan Danielson Zack Sabre Jr. match, I'm paying money for it now. I've already deposited. I've already put in my deposit.
Well, I'm sure we'll get it.
I'm sure
he'll be in Japan sometime next year.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Let's move through the weekend then. Very excited for Wrestle Kingdom. Oh, so let's move ourselves over to the Red Brand. Let's talk about some Monday Night Raw.
Let's get raw. Let's get
Raw is here.
And after a what I can only describe as lengthy recap of last week's show, they always do a little recap of the show, or not even. No, sometimes more often I just fucking open up and here we go. I felt like this thing went on for like 6.5 minutes. Did you notice
sometimes
this?
I just skip right past.
You just tune out. Yeah, you just tune out. It happened, I think.
Yeah. Eventually, Bobby Lashley comes out with MVP and starts talking about beating up Rollins and Owens last week and says, I should be added to the Day 1 title match. Owens interrupts and says, you don't deserve it. Rollins comes out. And another nice suit. This one was like split. Pink in the front, black in the back. Looks great.
as Seth Rollins, I think, is making his way towards best dressed.
Yeah, I mean, certainly up there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, he's not happy with Lashley either. And finally, Big E comes out to set everything straight. Or Pierce and Sonya, they come out to settle this. And they're like, all right, Fatal 4-Way, Day 1, let's do that. But only if Lashley can beat all three of you tonight, one-on-one. So a bit of a gauntlet for him to go.
Bit of a gauntlet for, so this year 1 pay-per-view, we've kind of been slowly building. I guess we're asking ourselves, who Seth Rollins, I guess, was the one who initially got the opportunity to take on Big E for that championship. And then Kevin Owens last week kind of added himself to the race. Don't know why we need all this beef in the ring. But I guess it's happening.
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. But, well, we'll find out. He's got to go through the other 3 first.
Okay.
But Matt Riddle takes on Otis. And, it was okay. Otis gets a bunch of moves. Riddle hits the floating bro, goes for an RKO. But then Otis reverses it into a big toss-up slam and gets the win. Bit of a surprise there, Otis.
Otis. God, I can't remember the last time Otis had a singles victory. To kick off the show against one of the more solid, kind of consistent Monday Night Raw competitors. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Maybe?
I mean, Riddle hasn't lost very much this year. So, yeah, it is kind of a big deal, I guess. But Bianca Belair taking on Doudrop, who I don't know when it happened, but she's got a new theme song now. No more of that stupid finger twiddling thing going on.
Yeah, and even she was wearing, she felt a little more heel today coming out too. I think she kind of had like an all black kind of like singlet looking thing, a little darker
jacket.
than the kind of bubbly, but still with the dumb name. See, this is the worst part.
Still with the dumb name.
Until you have it's like, you could be the hardest core band in the world, fucking spitting up blood, hailing Satan, but if you're called like the meow meow kitties, no one's gonna take you seriously.
Yeah. Well, I did hear that WWE recently trademarked Piper Niven, so hopefully we're going back to that.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great.
Yeah, but she looked pretty good here. Hits some nice moves, gets some near falls. She climbs up to the second rope, but then Bianca runs in, power bombs her off, and she climbs up top, hits a sweet 450 splash, and that gets the win. Good match, though. One of Doudrop's best, I thought.
Yeah, both these women are two of probably the strongest women on this side of the roster. Add Rhea Ripley to that conversation, and there's a lot of beef. Or there's a lot of lean beef. I don't know. I don't want it to sound rude, but you know what I mean. Doudrop's gonna get her moment over Bianca Belair one of these days. But I would. This was a 10-minute match. Oh, and it's a way to go. Way to go, women's division. I like seeing that.
Yeah, it was good. Kevin Owens taking on Bobby Lashley. Part 1 of the gauntlet. They just kind of go back and forth for a while. Lashley is about to get Owens in the Hurt Lock, but Owens just taps out right away before it can even get locked in because he wants to save himself from any damage. So he doesn't care.
Yeah, that's a good point. He doesn't care. He's been doing this I don't care thing for a couple months now.
Yeah, and we were talking about it for a while. The rumors of him, his contract expiring, going to AEW, it's all over. Because he is apparently re-signed with WWE.
Really?
For the next... Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now he cares again.
Well, I mean, the contract's only good until they release you, so... Doesn't mean a whole lot,
Your contract's only as good as until they release you. The
90-day clause. That's pretty much all it's worth.
I guess that's a good point, right? You take your nut, and then you're like, hey, yeah, I guess if they let me go, then... But I hope that means that they're serious about Kevin Owens, or that... at least Kevin Owens would be doing stuff that he likes to do. I feel like he would have had an opportunity from other places that would have allowed him to have fun.
Yeah. No, I think the timing of this, he re-signed, and now he's getting a main event WWE title match. And maybe they even shock the world and let him win the title. I'd be okay with that.
Imagine that. He's a Universal champ. He's an IC champ. He's a fucking United States champion. Why not just keep adding it to the resume?
Big time Becky Lynch comes out next, cut a promo, talks about defeating Liv Morgan, and she shows a nice close-up of the sad Liv fan from last week, who I think we mentioned on our tweet of the week.
Liv Morgan was the Tweet of the Week champion as a result of that. Yeah.
So that funny picture. Liv comes out to respond, says, yeah, well, you had to cheat to beat me. And she shows the photo evidence of Becky holding onto the ropes. And she says, I'm not going to give up until I win that title. And if you really are big time, you'll accept my rematch for day 1. And Becky says, no. They come to blows. Becky just starts slamming Liv's hand. She locks it in the steel steps and just starts stomping away at it. She even slipped on her way, but she got back up. It was fine. But she says, yeah, you still want the match? Okay. Now that she's beat her up.
Year 1. Day 1.
Day 1. Liv Morgan Could it be her day one with the title?
It could be. Might as well. It's easier for the the bookkeepers if you just win the championship on the first day of the year. Then it's easier for them to like reverse engineer what day it is.
Exactly. Finn Balor and Damian Priest take on the Dirty Dogs. The wrestling was fine, but really nothing, no story or consequences behind this match. Just kind of thrown together here. Austin Theory ends up showing up in the middle, distracts Finn. Ziggler hits the zigzag and gets the win. And I think last week we just said everyone kicks out of the zigzag.
We did call it the most kicked out finisher. Yeah, and getting the pin on Finn Balor, God, I would have been if the pin was on Damian Priest, I would have gone nuts. But like you said, this was just a blah match. It's been probably 2 weeks now of the Priest involved with Rude. He took on Rude last week, I guess, but maybe these two are here to stay.
Maybe, but Finn Balor just a few months ago was challenging for the Universal title, and now he's getting pinned by the zigzag.
He's getting pinned by a zigzag.
A thin rolling paper beat him. But women's action, Rhea Ripley taking on Queen Zelina. Ripley was in control, but on the outside, Carmella and Nikki Ash, they just start fighting, so they fight their way inside the ring, and Rhea just goes to straighten that out, which allows Zelina to knee her from behind, roll her up, get the 3. Another win for Zelina.
Yeah, this was bad. I didn't like this one.
There's nothing to it. This whole feud is, this whole feud's not very good. Nikki Ash, Rhea Ripley, that team just needs to split. But, Queen Zelina. Long live the Queen. Ever since 9/11, she's been dominating.
Yeah. Ever since 9/11, she's just been getting wins on wins on wins on wins. And you're right, but since the Zelina Vega days, and now she's Queen Zelina. Queen Zelina. We dropped the Vega. Yeah, I guess
she gained an accent that she slips in and out of.
Yeah, it's in and out. It's sometimes she's from Mexico, sometimes she's from the Bronx. Yeah. We don't know.
I like how when she gets mad, she just starts speaking Spanish, like like someone's mom that they live with. Whenever they're mad, they just start.
Yeah. So
they can't speak English.
Yeah, so all they can do is yell in the language that. But she's from Queens. Yeah. You don't get.
Like you go to your friend's house and their parents are yelling at them. You don't know what they're saying. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, given Queen Zelina's out of ring ability, I'm surprised they're not really running with that a little bit more. Weird roll up distraction wins over Rhea Ripley. That's one thing, but you think that Queen Zelina would have the mind to lead an evil female stable and rule them as her queen, as their queen.
Yeah, it's just their queen, but. I don't know. They've got those title belts, but they don't mean anything. Still, Zelina, Carmella,
and Nikki Cross, and yeah, that's right. I said it. Nikki Cross, she's still wearing that fucking thing. So go back to sanity.
Yeah, hopefully. Anyways, round 2 of this gauntlet. Bobby Lashley taking on Seth Rollins. They fight for a few minutes. Lashley's in control. So Kevin Owens, he's got a great plan. He runs out and he hits Seth, which causes the DQ, so Seth wins. And that ends Lashley's hopes just like that.
His hopes and dreams gone like that, baby. You're not welcome here.
No, but Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, they come out, they say, aha, very clever, but we're not going down like that. So this match and every other match for the rest of the night for Lashley is going to be no DQ. So the ref rings the bell, restart the match. Lashley hits a spear, gets a 3. So he's going. One more match to get through.
Yeah, which bit of a weird ending, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, oh well. What else is weird is this, just more backstage stuff with Vince and Austin Theory, and this is just not good at all. This is not doing anybody any favors. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got nothing from this.
I also don't know. I think in my mind, Vince thought... Remember how I thought Austin Theory was British this whole time, and he actually wasn't? I think Vince is the same thing. He thought he was somebody else. And now he feels bad because he's like, oh, I just called up this kid, and I thought it was Finn Balor, and you know, like kind of like the wires got crossed somewhere.
Yeah. No, the whole pairing's weird, and Vince's acting is terrible nowadays.
Nowadays,
I mean, back when he
could sell. He could sell back then.
The Stone Cold days,
even the CM Punk days.
Yeah. Even the CM Punk days, but now he seems like he's a 70-year-old man now.
Yeah, how old do we think he actually is? Do we think he's 80?
Not yet. I think he's like 72, 70, early 70s.
He's 72, looks 100.
His mom's still alive, though.
Really?
She's like 100 and something.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Poor woman.
Good genes. Ms. TV special edition coming up with the lovely Maurice as the host. So she comes out, she introduces the Miz, who just puts himself over and shows a nice video montage for himself that announces he's going into the Hall of Fame 2022 class.
I didn't know you could do. I didn't know a self-induction was cool, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but an actual WWE Hall of Famer, Edge, comes out, gets on the just start cutting a promo about their match coming up at day one, calls him an overbearing jack-off, and they just come to blows. Edge looks to hit a spear, but Miz pulls Maurice in the way to stop Edge, and then hits him with a skull-crushing finale. But Maurice is pissed at what her husband did, so she slaps him in the face and storms off.
Wow.
She's a mother.
We're going to get a custody on a pole match again? What do you think the next thing to be put on a pole will be?
I don't know. It's been, I think the kendo stick was the last one we had.
Yeah.
And that was a really bad match.
I know. We need something, you need something larger than life. Like having a weapon on a pole, that's not fun. You need to have something that like means something. You know, like custody of the children. Or who's Dominic's actual father? You know, like
yeah.
DNA test on a pole match. See, that's riveting. That's exciting television.
Yeah. Let's get to the main event. The final step for Bobby Lashley to get to day one, taking on Big E, the champion himself. So yeah, a lot of beef here. Lots of big man power moves and no DQ, if you remember. So get chairs.
No DQ, you say? Okay.
Yeah. So Bobby Lashley gets slammed headfirst into a chair. We get table in the ring. Lashley slams Big E through the table, so they fight outside. At one point, Big E slams Lashley on the steel steps, and the way he lands, spine right on the edge of those things, looked painful. But back in the ring, Lashley hits a spear, goes for the pin, but then this is when Rollins and Owens come running out to attack him. They beat up Big E as well, so just big brawl. But eventually Big E grabs Owens, puts him through a table. Lashley spears Rollins through another table, so they're out of it. Big E and Lashley square up. And this is when MVP jumps in, nails Big E from behind with the cane. This allows Bobby to hit another spear, get the win. He's going to day one.
Going to day one, baby! Yeah, this was easily the best match, I think, on this card of the night.
Yeah, and... I mean, kind of strange to stack the odds so hard against a heel and then have him win.
Yeah, heels rarely have to run the gauntlet. That's why they're heels. You know, imagine, it's Kofi having to go through these grueling sets of challenges every single week. No one would no one would fucking care if it was Daniel Bryan who had to do it. Yeah, you're right, and it's a weird thing in that, and clearly they don't want us to stop thinking about Bobby Lashley, although it has been, was it SummerSlam? No, Big E.
It was just after.
It was just after SummerSlam. Big E cashed in. So it has been 3-ish, probably plus months now, of Big E as champion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most of these guys, there's a chance any of these guys could walk out with the title at day one, I feel feel like Big E's reign hasn't really been that spectacular yet, and I don't know what they're going to do. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like you said, it is the start of a brand new day, a whole new world. Maybe it is just, I wonder if we'll see a lot of, or potentially a few new champions on that day coming into the new year.
Yeah, and like we said, Kevin Owens, shiny new contract, maybe started off with a big world title reign. Be like, hey, thanks for
no better
signing,
way
buddy.
to start off a contract than with a nice world title reign. But that was our whole episode of Monday Night Raw for the week. Really excited for the upcoming pay-per-view. Mike, should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Come back.
We got some big action.
2.0, of course, winter is coming. It's practically here. So we're going to take a break, and then you stick around.
Let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, brother, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, brother, yeah.
Back here with the podcast here, folks. Thanks for sticking out through the break. We're with part 2, baby. Part 2 in a traditional musical or play setting. Of course, the second half is going to be a little bit shorter. Usually, the intermission will be more than halfway through the show. However, the second half of the show is often where all the action is. Of course, as we know, winter is coming, and even as we know more, have we seen the last of Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly? At least in NXT 2.0, have we seen the last of them? Have we seen the last of anyone else who's recently left? Anyone else? If so, you know what I'm talking about. Let's get into some NXT 2.0.
NXT, what does it mean? I don't know, but it's some good wrestling. So NXT, watch and see. Out a tap, out a count, out a 1, 2, 3.
Because we ended the show last week in which should have been Gargano's send-off. Bet on yourself, that whole kind of thing was absolutely destroyed when Grayson Waller made sure that the NXT star, the NXT GOAT, is quickly forgotten and replaced, maybe by him. Who knows? Who knows?
But one of our favorite stars kicks off the show. Cameron Grimes
Yeehaw.
taking on his new nemesis, Duke Hudson. This one's a no-holds-barred match. And Hudson, he comes out. He's still wearing that silly blonde wig.
He's wearing some very real hair that looks like it comes straight out of his scalp.
Yeah, so still covering up there, but no holds barred. Like we said, Grimes, he grabs a garbage can, just stuffs it over his head, kicks him all around. But, Hudson fights back, slams Grimes down onto a chair. Then he brings in a poker table, power bombs Grimes through that. But, Grimey, he recovers, hits a nice poison rana. Hudson lands seated right on the chair. So Grimes runs up, hits the cave-in, gets the win.
Gets the cave-in
big reveal
for the win. Oh, yeah, big reveal, please. Yeah.
Yes, the big reveal at the end. He rips the wig off of Hudson, revealing the shiny bald head underneath.
The shiny bald head of Grayson Waller. Sorry, not Grayson Waller.
Duke Hudson.
Still getting used to some of these names.
Yeah, I mean, they look kind of similar.
And all these new characters who we're seeing is name.
And I think Duke Hudson's the opposite of every other guy, where we don't think he's British, but he is British.
I think everyone is British. Well, out of all these people,
well, speaking of, where the hell has Timothy Thatcher been in this 2.0
Where's
era?
the Thatch man been? Like how has he survived the releasing?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, Ciampa just kind of left him in the dirt when he won his title back. They had this tag team going. The Fight Pit is just collecting dust in a warehouse somewhere.
Somewhere in that big fucking WWE warehouse is just.
Yeah. I mean, we're due. We're for our third Fight Pit. I don't know.
Oh man.
Anyways, the big heel, as you mentioned, Grayson Waller comes out, cuts a promo, just insulting Gargano, and yeah, what does this mean? I don't know. Is Gargano gonna come back, or is he gone? We don't know. Someone's got to step up and take on this loudmouth.
Yeah, someone's got to do this.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever mentioned it on this show. It's been going on for months now, this NXT 2.0, but it's just so bad. But I'll mention it once just because this Lash Legend lashing out talk show she does. It's awful every single time.
Have I seen this? Have I skipped past this every time?
Probably. It's been like
it's
I
been
don't know, like 5-6 episodes. Yeah.
Okay, so what is this?
She hasn't wrestled. She hasn't done anything.
Who is
I
this?
don't know. It's just this woman who sits down with this little like crowd studio audience and interviews the rest of them.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yep.
Her name's Lash Legend, and that's all it is. Yeah, it's bad. There's no reason for it, and but sometimes you got to mention the bad. It's like American Idol. They show the bad singers along with the good singers.
Right. They pepper in William Hung every so often.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But let's go to some real women's wrestling. Ivy Nile, the dominant force, taking on Amari Miller, who gets a couple moves early on, but Ivy just takes over, muscles her around, locks in her unique dragon sleeper hold to get the submission win.
Which is a great part for the Diamond Mine, right? The Diamond Mine, this kind of confusing little faction for me, right? Like your leader is the cruiserweight champ, like that is, but the guys around you are bigger than you, which is just bizarre. Also,
and they've started to waive the rules for the cruiserweight title, so.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't be surprised if they just changed the belt to something else.
Into kind of something else, because it feels like Roddy and then also the two guys, the Creed brothers, that's the name. Like they need help in their wins, but Ivy Nile doesn't need any help in her wins. She just gets them. I think it's about time, Ivy moves over to some of these better, more established female superstars.
Yeah. I feel like she's definitely someone that they have high hopes for. They're protecting her, but yeah, eventually we want to see a bit more of what she can do.
Yeah, but all these people, I'd say, just when it was on my mind of the name, and Ivy Nile's one of those. We see Ivy Nile. Later on, we see Cora Jade taking on Chase. Duke Hudson and Andre Chase, Tony D'Angelo. It's just everyone's got this bang, 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 bang thing going on. Or bang, bang.
I mean, enjoy it before they take away one of their names.
Oh, I guess that's better if you give them two names to kick off. Or maybe it should be the other way around. Like if Kushida comes up, you can't. What are you going to take away? Ida? Just make him Kush?
Well.
I mean, you could
call him Kush, team him with Riddle.
No, wait. I take that back. I didn't mean it.
Yeah. Speaking of Kush, we go to MSK and Riddle. Just continuing these stoner skits. I think they're just pulling a bunch of objects out of a bottomless fanny pack.
Yeah, I think Bruce Pritchard saw Dude, Where's My Car over the weekend, and he walked past a room where his grandkid...
Get a load of this! Yeah.
You're going to love this shit, Vince. You're going to love it.
I guess the one thing I liked was we saw John Cena's very rare U.S. version of the spinner belt.
Oh, the spinner belt. The
title.
U.S. spinner belt. Don't see that one too often.
No,
wasn't that virtually retired?
Because when he won the U.S. title his second time, he never brought the spinner back.
He didn't bring it back. Yeah.
But after this, we have Guru Raj taking on Harland, the big monster, making his, I guess both men making their debut, but my money's on Harland in this one.
Between these two, Harland giving off that, he's like a tattooed Brock Lesnar. That's kind of, bald.
He just looks like some guy he broke out of prison. He's murdered some people.
Also, would have had to buy that shirt and then rip the sleeves off himself, cut the sleeves off himself. They don't sell shirts like that, Harland.
I mean, expensive designers might. Pre-stressed, pre-ripped.
Oh, yeah, the pre-ripped stuff. Yeah, that's
But I'm sure that's not Harland's bag. I'm sure that's not. But anyways, he dominates, hits some big slam, gets the easy win as his Joe Gacy just smiles on with delight. Then I think a bit later, backstage, Harland throws some poor guy down a flight of stairs.
Some poor guy? That's Brian Kendrick.
Was it Brian Kendrick?
Hell yeah, that was Brian Kendrick. It was the first time I've seen him in years. And I was like, hey, it's you. Go downstairs.
Yeah, I guess he's unofficially retired from in-ring. I don't know.
I think he's kind of like a coach producer back there, kind of works with the younger talent, stuff like that. But I was so excited to see him for half a second. I was like, oh, I forgot about you.
Well,
and then, there he goes.
Yeah. Still taking bumps.
Still taking bumps. You'll have a hey, wasn't fucking Dean Malenko take a bump a few months back? Like, these people are taking bumps.
Yeah, and he's yeah. But Cora Jade taking on Dakota Kai, and the crowd rooting for Cora, chanting her name. That War Games match has already helped put her on the map a little bit. But she's still carrying some damage from that. Her shoulder. Dakota targets that, and but she can't put Cora away, so she starts getting frustrated, grabs the shovel, but the ref yanks it away, and Jade rolls up Kai, gets the 3. Another big win.
Big win, but almost disappointing in that same kind of way. 2 weeks removed from, that big bump at War Games. The crowd's clearly behind her, is setting her up as the next worthy challenger for a championship bout. I don't want to see you getting roll-ups.
Well, I mean, Dakota did it to herself.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have gone for the shovel.
I guess you shouldn't have gone for the shovel. Whose thing is the shovel?
Ref's
Was somebody's thing the shovel before?
I mean, it's been used, but I don't know if it's been like a signature item, like she's turning it into.
Right. Like she's kind of turning it into her big fucking hammer.
Yeah, her sledgehammer, Triple H thing. But anyways, Kai, she's a sore loser after, beats up Jade until Raquel comes out, makes a save. But then Mandy and Toxic Attraction attack them, so...
Okay. So everyone's attacking each other, just like the good old days.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Tony D'Angelo takes on Andre Chase, and Tony comes out carrying Pete Dunne's mouth guard in this case because he stole it right out of his mouth during the War Games match.
Yeah, grody.
Yeah, a little weird, but he just roughs up Andre for a while, hits his big swinging fisherman suplex to get the win, and then he gets on the microphone, calls out Pete Dunne, who comes out to respond, and gets right in his face, grabs him by the fingers, bends him back, and then he smashes the case to take his mouth guard back.
Yeah, it seems
Who knows what Tony did with that thing?
It seems like Andre Chase is the like they're building him up to be Baron Corbin. Like on television every week, but keep losing. You're not a jobber, really.
I mean, he's got a small pocket of fans.
He has a small pocket of fans. He really does feel like Baron Corbin 2.0.
Yeah, but just a lot skinnier.
Yeah. Well, now, of course, a different size. He has a full head of hair, but
Yeah, same role on the
exactly
the
same spot. Yeah.
Then we go to Boa taking on Edris and Ofe.
This was a new one. This was a new one for me.
Maybe, yeah. I can't keep up with all these new names.
Okay. Yeah.
But Boa, wearing that face paint still, and some hard-looking kicks in this match. Boa just channeling that inner Mei Ying demon. He hits a vicious spinning heel kick to get the win. That slow-mo replay, you could just see the impact.
Yeah, him looking good. This kind of gimmick looking good. That's good. That's good for everyone, right? But I guess you just try to, as long as you avoid the same mistakes you made with the whole Mei Ying thing, the whole Tian Sha thing. And also the other Uso brother was ringside here, Sikoa.
Oh, Solo, yeah.
Yes, Solo Sikoa. So maybe Boa
Sikoa.
I think he was just kind of, he had an eye on the action,
Yeah, I guess Boa Sikoa, that's a thing we can do.
Boa Sikoa, baby, book it now.
Jacket time. Ikemen Jiro and Kushida take on the Grizzled Young Vets. And it was okay. I mean, the crowd has fun. They like cheering for Jacket time. So the Creed brothers were outside the ring. They end up intimidating the Grizzled Young Vets, which allows Jacket time to hit their team finisher to get the win.
Some credit. We are trying to rebuild a tag division. So credit, to trying new things, new teams. It stinks that an established team like Grizzled Young Veterans, has to take a loss. Especially with MSK on the sidelines, the Creed brothers not really being a tag team quite yet, them having bouts on their own or whatever. So judging by that, it seems like Imperium could reign for a while. With all these great challengers coming up.
Yeah. There's a lot of young new teams, but none quite as established yet as them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll see. But let's go to the main event. Roderick Strong taking on Braun Breaker. Woof, 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 woof. That's it.
or I guess, yeah, that's sort of what they're doing.
The crowd loves it. They're barking. The match was pretty good. Just back and forth action. Breaker continues to impress. Roddy gets a good amount of moves. Hits a big superplex, double underhook, power bomb for a big 2 count. But then Breaker just has his big comeback. The dogs are barking. He hits his big press power slam to get the win. So just another impressive match for him. And but before he can celebrate, Ciampa comes out, hits Breaker with a DDT right onto the NXT title. So that's kind of a heel move right there. But that's how you win the show.
That's how the show ends. That's how the show ends. And like you said, yeah, Braun Breaker is this guy who we haven't forgotten is on television ever since his move to 2.0. Right?
Yeah.
They've kept it with us every single week, right? He gets the big pin in War Games a couple weeks back. And now this pin over, a former black and gold guy. I wonder if he'll kind of run the gauntlet of the black and gold superstars, the Pete Dunnes, the LA Knights, as he makes his way to eventually taking down Ciampa. New Year's Evil, that's the next little event that's coming up.
Yeah, could it be then? I don't know. We'll see. But I think we all know Breaker. It's sooner or later he's getting that title.
Yeah. Sooner or later, he's coming for it, baby. That was our episode of NXT. That was a great episode of NXT. Let's move on to our final show of the week then, because winter is coming. It's practically here. Live from Orlando, Florida. Nope, Garland, Texas. I'm not going to get it right every time. Live from Garland, Texas, okay. We have AEW's edition of Winter is Coming. That's right, we got some Dynamite.
AEW. All Elite. They coming for you, Vince. Better watch out. It's too sweet.
Now, Mike,
That's
you
right.
have your work cut out for you, because opening up the match card, I pull up this match at work, or I pull up at 8 p.m. I pull up the pay-per-view, or sorry, not the pay-per-view, it's like Dynamite. I'm expecting our main event is going to be the match that I really want to see, but they don't even fuck around with us. Kicking off the night, our AEW champion Adam Hangman Page taking on Bryan Danielson in our opening match.
That's right. World title on the line. Huge match to kick off the show. But, they don't want to fuck around. They don't want to mess with timing. 60-minute time limit here. The crowd, to start the match, they're pretty split between the two early on. But, of course, Bryan just acting heelish throughout, drawing the boos as we go. But, yeah, this was just amazing wrestling all the way through. Tons of time. Lots of submission work from Danielson, just working over Hangman, his leg, his ankle. Just the pace never really slows down. They're just the entire first half of Dynamite, the whole first hour. This was the match. This was all, this match. Hangman hits he goes for the moonsault to the floor, but Bryan shoves him. He lands hard on the edge of the ring, and Bryan starts ramming him into the ring post multiple times. And then he goes into the ring to flex for the crowd. So big boos for Bryan. He loves all of it. And then Hangman comes up bleeding from the head. So he's busted open here.
But then it seems like they rescinded that decision, or he cut too hard. Because there was one kind of shot, and then he's got blood all over his face. He's got that crimson mask. And the next shot, they're wiping it away. And then next shot, he had no blood. Very bizarre. Did you catch that?
This match, I'm glad I was watching the picture-in-picture version so I could see the whole thing uncut.
Yes.
And, during the break, the doctors come in, they check on Hangman, they kind of wipe away some blood, and they even poured some water in his mouth. He got a free drink. That was cheating. Bryan. as they're doing that for Hangman, Brian's inside the ring. He's laughing. He's doing jumping jacks, push-ups.
The most athletic man on the roster. Taz was touting him as all show.
Yeah, and just drawing more heat. We talked about heat beginning of the show. This was the heat. He was going to do the yes chant, and then he just gives the middle finger to the crowd. Just full on heel work here. But anyways, back to the action. Danielson, he's in control, working over Hangman, who's just bleeding. And Brian doesn't like that they cleaned him up, so he just pounds away, punching on that wound to draw the blood back up. And he gets the cattle mutilation applied, partially, but Hangman is able to roll to the ropes, escapes that. But then he starts his comeback, just starts targeting Brian's leg, smashing it into the ring post, the barricade, locks in a figure four. He even hits a tombstone pile driver a bit after that, but Brian kicks out. So they fight their way to the apron. Brian goes for a pile driver of his own, but Hangman reverses, hits the Deadeye right on the edge of the apron. So they're pulling out the big moves now, and he goes for a big dive off the top rope, but Brian avoids that. So Hangman crashes down into the timekeeper's table. Brian pulls up the mat to expose the concrete floor, DDTs Hangman onto that. So we go back into the ring. We're getting near the finish line here. They announce 5 minutes left in the 60-minute time limit. So both men just exchanging heavy strikes. Brian grabs Hangman, starts doing the stomps, stomping away at his head. He goes for the Boo Psycho knee, but Hangman catches him, hits a second Deadeye. But Brian kicks out of that. So now the crowd is just in the frenzy, just AEW chants, loving this shit. Hangman wants to finish the job. He grabs Brian's arms, starts stomping away on his face, goes for the buckshot lariat. Brian catches him, gets him in the label lock, middle of the ring.
Oh.
Yeah, the clock is ticking. The crowd is going wild, chanting cowboy shit, trying to will the Hangman to escape. He just reaches the ropes, nails Brian, hits him from behind, jumps over. He finally hits the buckshot lariat. He's got him down, but before he can make the cover, the bell rings. 60 minutes has been reached. We have a draw.
A draw. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my God. So the crowd boos, but they weren't booing the match. They were just booing the fact that it was over. They were like, oh, man.
Wow. This was somewhere around the second... Going into the second commercial break, I was like, wow, 2 commercials. Okay, yeah, 2 commercials. This is going to be a long match. And then the third commercial break, I was like, wow. Now it was the 4th commercial break where I was like, okay, holy shit, okay, here's what's going on. And man, you fucking called it. That label lock in the middle of the ring. I was standing up. I thought that was it. There was also, but in retrospect, there was a fucking moment like 20 minutes into the match where I thought that was also it. We had a this is it moment every 10 minutes. Promptly, if you're voting for your own shooties at home, this is why we wait until the end of the year, folks.
Exactly.
This is why you wait before making your professional wrestling year-end rewards. I'm sure if you're anything like me, you're also on Wikipedia, constantly refreshing the list of 5-star plus matches. You're just refreshing it, waiting to see what this ends up going to. This is 5 stars for me.
Yeah, I give this 5 stars.
This is a 5-star match. And Mike, we know if you're giving it 5 stars, that really means something. Because you don't throw out that word too hastily.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, this was wrestling, just an hour, straight action, amazing stuff. Match of the year candidate. And you get the double. I mean, Hangman's still the champ, but Brian's still undefeated. So
now you need to quote me on this one. Wasn't there a match on Monday Night Raw that went 60 minutes during the show? It was like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart or something.
Yeah, John Cena, Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
62 minutes or something.
They go 62 until an eventual winner was decided. But yeah, this This is just so you don't fucking see this. You just don't see it. I mean, just booking that decision alone. I mean, they could have made it
it's officially the longest match in AEW history.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, I don't know how soon, but the rematch, it's there. It has to happen. And I mean, why not an Iron Man match?
An Iron Man match? I mean, if anybody's, this is Bryan Danielson, right? This is who he spent, 72 minutes in that Greatest Royal Rumble there that one time?
Yeah, something like that.
And so now Bryan Danielson, he has 2 time limit draw matches. The first one ran 30 against Kenny Omega. This one ran the full hour. And these time limit draws are really fucking impactful, I have to say. Initially we had that Cody Rhodes Darby time limit. I think it was a 20-minute time limit in that one. But for that one, that was Darby Allin's coming out party. That was the moment where you're like, woo, this guy can fucking hang, man.
Yeah. No, I've liked their use. They use them very sparingly, but enough to let you know, hey, draws can happen.
And honestly, you never know which one it's going to be, because before every single match, Justin Roberts says, he'll say just, this is a singles match. Next up, we have Wardlow and Matt Sydal, 20-minute time limit. He'll let us know there is a time limit.
And we all know it's not going 20.
It's not going the full, but, it's the potential is there. What an incredible match. Consistent. We'll be talking about this one. We'll be talking about this one for a while.
Yes, we absolutely will. And, what a great, literally just your first half of Dynamite was just that, nothing else. And one of the best things in AEW's history.
Yeah.
So let's keep the action going. Wardlow takes on Matt Sydal. Nice little cool down match, just something quick.
We got to cool down somehow.
But Wardlow, though, still keeps the crowd engaged, hits a bunch of power bombs, which has become his new thing, just over and over. But Sean Spears on the outside is like, hey, man, that's enough. We don't get paid by the hour. Come on. But Wardlow and the fans, they want more power bombs. So he hits another, makes the pin, gets the win.
Pin in the win. But, like you said, less F10s coming out of this.
Yeah, he hasn't hit one in a little while. And, it's a very slow burn, but eventually Wardlow's going to leave the group and turn babyface. This is just another bit.
Could be, yeah. Especially, pairing him against a Matt Sydal, who's pretty much always going to, tweener, play the heel job thing.
Serena Deeb takes on Hikaru Shida. These two have been having a nice little feud the last couple months. Some good matches. And, just kind of continue here. Crowd's hot for Shida. And, back and forth. Serena Deeb, some nice submissions from her. Eventually, I think she removes the turnbuckle padding. But she's the one who gets shoved into it head first, which allows Shida to follow up with a jackknife pin to get the win.
Pin for the win. Yeah, Deeb, Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida is hot everywhere she goes. Hikaru Shida. The fans love Hikaru Shida. They love Riho. Every single time they come out seems to be that. So Hikaru Shida getting that big win. Now this was not part of the TBS championship, correct? Or that tournament bracket?
No, this was just its own little thing.
We'll give this one some space to breathe. We'll give this feud some space to breathe. It'll be curious to see which competitors go towards which of these upcoming championships. The TBS title, AEW Women's World title. It'll be curious to see who decides to take what.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of know your lane.
Pick a lane and stay in it.
Yeah. But let's get to the main event of this episode of Winter is Coming. We've got the Dynamite Diamond Ring match. MJF taking on Dante Martin. Maxwell looking for the perfect three-peat here. But before the match starts, he cuts another promo on CM Punk and just says, Punk, after having a bunch of underwhelming matches with underwhelming opponents, that doesn't make you champ material. Makes you the new Ryback. So another Seems to be the weekly. another WWE
yeah.
name drop. But on to the match. Great stuff here. Dante Martin just doing his thing. The super fast, high flying, jumping all around. MJF being the chicken shit heel. Yeah, Dante just goes on a roll, starts hitting the big dives. Jumps from the mat to the top rope with no hands. Hits a big springboard shooting star press. Nearly overshoots MJF a bit, but hey, he's crazy.
He's got motherfuckers crazy.
Yeah. And then back in the ring, he goes for his finisher, which they're calling now that nosedive. His little double moonsault thing. He makes the cover, but then Ricky Stark shows up, puts MJF's foot on the rope, so that breaks the pin. And then right after, MJF is able to get Dante in the salt of the earth. Dante Martin taps out. MJF wins his third straight Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Wow.
Yeah, and they got a new one. I don't know if he's got 3 rings now, but this
Yeah,
one
I was also wondering that because I never thought there were 2 rings, and I think we did ask ourselves the question: does he give the ring off to to the new winner? I think we asked ourselves this last year, but he was holding kind of like the little 3 sign out.
Yeah, so either way, he's got the win. Celebrates with the pinnacle, and then the lights shut out. So everyone's thinking, "Ooh, there's big rumors, Last year Sting debuted. Could it be Wyatt?" But they come back on. It's Sting and Darby, so not too big of a surprise. But they attack. Pinnacle get the upper hand. So CM Punk comes out with a baseball bat to make the save, and they book a 6-man tag between these guys for the Holiday Bash episode of Dynamite.
The Holiday Bash. Thank God for the Holiday Bash, because you know that WWE would explicitly use the word Christmas. Now, that isn't to say that, Excalibur might not drop a Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night type of thing, but it's nice to call it a Holiday Bash. I do have to say that. So the Holiday Bash is going to end up being this 2-night thing. They're gonna be, one will be live and then one will be pre-taped, Dynamite and Rampage. But we're gonna have a little bit of a bumped up card for those 2 shows.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'll have some Christmas decorations all about and
holiday decorations.
You can have both. You can have a Christmas tree.
But there are already some matches on that card, booked and everything. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. Either way, winter is coming. Great episode.
Another one.
Dynamite.
Yeah. Another great
2 for 2.
Yeah, 2 for 2. You're right. And that was all of our all the weekly info and fun. Let's get into our final little segment of the episode, when we have to bring you a Wrestler of the Week.
It's the Wrestler of the Week. Wrestler of the Week. Of the Week. Of the Week. The Wrestler of the Week. Of the Week. Of the Week. Wrestler of the Week. Of the Week. Of the Week. The Wrestler of the Week.
Mike, I'm turning the tables towards you. You're gonna have to give me yours. Show me yours, and I'll show you mine.
Well, I think it really comes down to just 2 men. 2 men this week. And which one of those you decide to choose is up to you. But it's always hard not to just defer to Mr. Bryan Danielson, giving him another Wrestler of the Week.
Congratulations to Mr. Danielson, Wrestler of the Week, in your eyes, I'm sure. Also competing up there for Wrestler of the Year, I would be sure. At least male competitor of the year. Now, he's got The Observer on watch. He's got fucking that other one. What's the other online? He's got everybody on watch.
He's in contention for a lot of awards.
In contention for a lot of awards, which is why I need to give my Wrestler of the Week to none other than Bryan Danielson. You're right. It's one of these things where it's kind of like a power ranking in sports, right? Where even if you weren't the best team in that Monday to Sunday kind of time period, the flow you've been on has been so strong. And truly, ever since this entire year, Bryan Danielson has just been off the fucking charts. and that's including a all summer hiatus, and it's been insane just to watch this run go down. And Bryan Danielson, you and I agreed yet again on who our wrestler of the week is. I think we're actually on pace to have it happen more times this year than any other prior year. So looking forward to that also.
Yeah, no, you always give us our little year-end stat roundup.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to get those things. Like Spotify does it, don't they? It's like, you listen to this artist.
Just like Spotify Wrapped, baby. You gave Io Shirai Wrestler of the Week more than anybody else.
Yeah.
That was another, what a great episode of the show. Thanks for listening, folks. Rate and subscribe. The show is everywhere. Be sure to tune in next week, because I really feel something big coming towards these last few weeks. We have New Year's Evil over on NXT 2.0. We have the Holiday Bash, as well as the AEW New Year show. I think we're going to see a lot of big stuff coming in these next few weeks.
Exactly. Day 1, Battle of the Belts.
Yeah.
We got lots of stuff.
We got a lot of great stuff coming up, so don't miss it. And that's all I got. Mike, you take care of yourself.
We'll see ya next time.